If you are into crypto, it's obvious why this matters. If you are not into crypto, this is a jaw-dropping story about a 30-year-old man, Sam Bankman-Fried, who in less than a week went from industry leader to industry villain, lost most of his fortune and stellar reputation, saw his $32 billion company plunge into bankruptcy, and became the target of investigation by the government. Such an extreme story is only possible probably in the world of cryptocurrencies. Let's see how it happened. November 2nd, CoinDesk publishes an exclusive revealing balance sheet details of Sam Bankman-Fried's Alameda Research trading firm, showing it's heavily invested in the FTX exchange's FTT token. November 6th, Binance CEO Changpeng Zhao, popularly known as CZ, says he's selling his remaining holding of FTT tokens. Minutes later, Caroline Ellison, CEO of Alameda Research, tweets that Alameda will buy Zhao's FTT tokens for $22 each. November 8th, the FTT token price falls below $22. November 8th, Binance announces non-binding letter of intent to buy FTX, subject to due diligence, easing the industry panic. November 9th, CoinDesk reports Binance is strongly leaning against buying FTX after just a few hours of checking its books and loans. November 9th, Binance officially walks away from the FTX deal. November 10th, Bankman-Fried says Alameda Research, the trading firm at the center of the drama, is being wound down. November 10th, FTX assets frozen by Bahama regulator. November 11th, FTX files for bankruptcy protection in US. Sam Bankman-Fried, known popularly by his initials SBF, is the founder and former CEO of FTX, a cryptocurrency exchange. A cryptocurrency exchange is a place where people buy and sell cryptocurrencies. He is also the CEO of an investment company, Alameda Research, named after his hometown of Alameda, California, near San Francisco. These two firms, FTX, one of the world's biggest crypto brokers, and Alameda, one of the world's biggest crypto buyers, were supposed to be separated by a firewall, but they were not, and that caused his downfall. Cryptocurrencies have been going through a bear market since January 2022. The price of Bitcoin peaked at $69,000 on November 10, 2021. Since then, the price of Bitcoin has decreased by over 70%. Other big cryptocurrencies like Ether, Solana, Avalanche, and Dogecoin have decreased by about 90%. A lot of cryptocurrencies failed when the prices fell because they made investments with borrowed money and could not pay back, or because of sudden customer withdrawals. As the dominoes fell, Bankman-Fried jumped into the mix in June 2022 to bail out some of the failing crypto firms before it was too late, extending millions of dollars in financing. Sometimes he made moves to buy these companies at fire sale prices. Sam made these investments through Alameda Research with borrowed money. Amid the wave of bankruptcy, some of Alameda's lenders asked for their money back, but Alameda didn't have it because it was no longer liquid. Bankman-Fried's trading firm had parked the borrowed money in venture capital investments. To meet Alameda's debt obligations, FTX borrowed from its customer deposits to bail out Alameda quietly. Sam did not say how much, but Reuters and the Wall Street Journal both reported that the lifeline was roughly $10 billion. Reuters also said that $1 billion to $2 billion of that emergency financing is now missing. It's not with Alameda and no one knows where it went. These FTX customer funds were taken out without permission, and it violates FTX's own terms and conditions. Had a bank on Wall Street done that, it would be an obvious violation of the US securities law. Actually, the borrowing and lending scheme between these two firms was more convoluted than just using customer funds to make up for bad trading bets. FTX tried to cover up this hole by denoting assets in two crypto tokens that were essentially made up. FTT, a token created by FTX, and Serum, which was a token created and promoted by FTX and Alameda, according to Bloomberg. Understanding what a token is will probably take longer, but suffice it to say that it's a way of raising money. So just to recap quickly, FTX reportedly siphoned off its customer assets to Alameda, unethically if not illegally, so that it can pay back its loans. FTX then tried to cover up the hole by creating complicated financial instruments to obscure the news, but it got caught. This is a huge shock, not just for the crypto industry, but beyond that too, because of the saintly reputation Sam Bankman-Fried had. He is the son of Stanford law professors. He went to MIT to study physics and made $30 billion, supposedly with the sole aim of giving it away for the good of the world. He has promised to give away his lifetime earnings and started doing that even though he is only 30 years old by pouring money into effective altruist causes at the time of his downfall. Until last week, he was crypto's poster child. In Washington, D.C., he smooshed journalists, regulators, and lawmakers. He moved with Bill Clinton, Tony Blair, and many other well-known people. He was one of Democratic Party's top donors and sponsored sports teams ranging from basketball to Formula One. He built connections with celebrities only to further increase his ability to do good, not to sleep around with every celebrity he liked, as the young, rich, and powerful might be tempted to do. He was the golden boy of crypto. The relationship between Alameda and FTX was the root of Mr. Bankman-Fried's downfall, and they were closely linked. Though Alameda was officially run by Caroline Ellison, Mr. Bankman-Fried was also involved, contributing to decision-making on big trades. A person familiar with the company's inner workings said. Sam and 9 other members of the company's top management, including Miss Allison, were living in a 5-bedroom penthouse in Albany, a 600-acre oceanside resort in the Bahamas. Not just that, Mr. Bankman-Fried and Miss Allison were romantically involved. She was apparently his former girlfriend. At the very least, Alameda was supposed to operate out of a separate office. But a guest who visited FTX's complex in recent months said Miss Allison had been sitting within view of computers displaying the exchange trading data. Alameda traded heavily on the FTX platform, meaning it sometimes benefited from FTX's other customers' lost money, a dynamic that critics called a conflict of interest. Mr. Bankman-Fried had defended the arrangement, saying Alameda provided crucial liquidity for trades on FTX. So let's see. Sam runs one of the world's biggest crypto brokers, and his girlfriend runs one of the world's biggest crypto hedge funds, which is FTX's one of the biggest customers, while living in the same house and working from the same office. But they were supposed to be separated by a firewall. Mr. Bankman-Fried made it a point of pride that FTX had only about a 300-person staff, much smaller than its top rivals Binance and Coinbase. The dominant player in the cryptocurrency exchange market was still Binance by far, which commanded a 64.1% share, followed by FTX at 10.8% and Coinbase at 9.6%. While Binance had some 7,000 employees, Coinbase had some 6,000 employees, FTX only had 300 employees. Sam justified it previously, but now he regrets it. Besides running FTX, Sam was busy making venture capital investments in dozens of other crypto firms, was heavily involved in philanthropic activities, donated to political campaigns, gave media interviews, and offered Elon Musk billions of dollars to help finance the mogul's Twitter takeover. He also regularly met with government regulators and testified to Congress because he was trying to shape crypto regulation in Washington, D.C. All these were warning signs that his ambitions exceeded his grasp, but only on hindsight, unfortunately. Investors in FTX were supposed to oversee its CEO and guide him, but they were sleeping at the steering wheel. Over 80 investors, including the most successful investment firms like Ontario Teachers Pension Plan, Sequoia Capital, SoftBank, Temasek Holdings, and BlackRock, invested $2 billion in FTX. But none of them sat on the company's board, so FTX had virtually no oversight. The whole idea behind venture capital firms investing in startups is that you invest in an unproven idea or a firm and help it grow while watching it closely. It's not supposed to be like buying an Apple share, where you just buy and forget. They apparently were completely in the dark about FTX's possible self-dealing with Alameda. This has to be the most dramatic example in recent history of what happens when so-called visionary founders are given lots of money with few strings attached. Binance is the largest cryptocurrency exchange in the world and a competitor of FTX. It was founded in 2017 by the 45-year-old Changpeng Zhao, a Canadian whose parents migrated from China when he was 12 years old. When rumors of trouble emerged at FTX on November 6th, Mr. Zhao said Binance would sell $600 million worth of FTT, a token issued by Mr. Bankman-Fried's firm. That precipitated FTX's cash crunch. Next, Mr. Zhao offered to buy FTX in what would have amounted to a bailout, but soon the deal fell through after Binance found problems in the company's financials. Mr. Bankman-Fried had to look for new financing at the last moment. but he failed and FTX filed for bankruptcy. Did Changpeng Zhao sell his stake in FTT knowing that it would cause a run on FTX and force it to seek emergency financing, ultimately bankrupting it? We don't know for sure, but Sam Bankman-Fried thinks so. The bankruptcy of FTX left plenty of people with egg on their face, but Binance and its founder emerged stronger. So he did have a motive. In the summer of this year, Bankman-Fried was pressing regulators to look into Binance and was criticizing it in public. We don't know why exactly. Maybe he just wanted to bring down his biggest competitor. Whatever the reason, Changpeng Zhao got his revenge. A day after it filed for bankruptcy, the Collapse cryptocurrency said on Saturday that it was investigating unauthorized transactions flowing from its account, as crypto researchers documented suspicious transfers of $515 million that may have resulted from a hack or theft. John Ray, the newly installed chief executive of FTX, said in a statement that unauthorized access to certain assets has occurred and that the company was in touch with law enforcement officials and regulators. As part of the bankruptcy process, the company has been moving its remaining crypto funds into a more secure form of storage. The suspicious movement of funds marked a new twist in a dramatic series of events that kicked off earlier in the week. The exact nature of the transfer remained unclear. It could have resulted from a hacker gaining access to the exchange's system or an insider with special access seeking to abscond with funds. A class action suit was filed against Sam Bankman-Fried, which also named several high-profile celebrities who promoted FTX and acted as its brand ambassadors. They are being sued for defrauding unsophisticated investors to the tune of $11 billion. These celebrities include comedian Larry David, tennis star Naomi Osaka, NFL star Tom Brady and his supermodel ex-wife Gisele Bündchen, NBA legends Stephen Curry and Shaq O'Neal, NBL's David Oritz and Shohei Ohtani. FTX is now the subject of inquiry by federal prosecutors in New York, the SEC, and the Justice Department. FTX is also having to deal with dozens of regulators overseas, including Bahamas where it's headquartered, since it had an extensive operation in other countries too. For a long time, it was possible to get very rich very fast in crypto. Many brash people got lucky, bought Lamborghinis, and justified their riches by belligerently asserting that blockchain technology or Bitcoin was the future. They mocked those who disagreed with them or questioned their industry by saying, "Have fun staying poor." I don't want to say that this is the end of crypto because I don't think it is, but the failure of FTX is certainly the closest thing to a death blow crypto industry has faced. Everyone who invested in FTX suffered a massive financial hit, of course. In addition, Mr. Bankman-Fried has let down supporters, embarrassed investors, and made fools of politicians and YouTube influencers who endorsed FTX. We don't precisely know what went wrong at FTX, but it'll come out in bankruptcy procedures and even criminal ones in the months to come. But once again, too much debt caused the implosion of another financial institution. Everyone in crypto was borrowing from each other, which only works when the prices of all those crypto coins kept going up. But the music stopped at the beginning of this year, and the dominoes have started falling.